I'm Taylor Phillips, and he's Louis Tenor. This is episode 76 of True Sports.
Hmm.
It's about 10:29 p.m. We'll start listening a minute early. Um,
Right.
the NFL preseason is underway,
Yes.
and my Lions got a win against the Giants, 21-16.
Saw that game. Yeah.
Yep.
Good game though, nonetheless.
Yeah. True. So the Cowboys, did they play yet?
Cowboys did play that game was yesterday. Unfortunately, I was not able to see it. I thought it was going to be NFL Network, but it was not. So I didn't get a chance to watch the game. But they did manage to play, and they came up with did they come up with the win? They did not come with the win. The Jaguars beat them. Yeah, dirty, no good.
Hmm.
Uh, Yuck. 28-23.
Oh, that's a close one.
It was a close one, but like I said, I don't let that get to me too much in preseason. I mean, after all, it is only preseason. The stats don't count. The scores really don't mean much. So, although disappointed, I'm not terrible. I'm not gonna be let it bug me.
Right, right. And then there's
Yeah.
the waiver trade deadline in Major League Baseball.
Yes. Yes.
But it's getting down to about a month and a half left in the Major League Baseball regular season.
Yeah. But right now, the Yankees and Mets both look like they're on a crash course with themselves.
I'm surprised my Tigers did not get swept by the Red Sox. By the way, they took
Hmm.
Tigers took yesterday's game 6-2. Kerry
Yes.
Carpenter 2 home runs. Eric Haas, out of all people, a home run. Let me check Eric Haas's batting average and OPS right now. It's on ML. It's on the MLB app. I
Hmm.
know it's today's game. Haas didn't play today. He played yesterday.
Yes.
Um, Eric Haas, 203 average, 530 OPS.
Hmm.
Yeah, still garbage.
Uh,
He's worn out his welcome in the Motor
yes.
City. All right, so it's time for your true sports report. Go ahead.
Away we go. All right, folks. We'll start with the Major League Baseball scores for the day. The Red Sox beat the Tigers 6-3. Whitlock got the win, Rodriguez got the loss, and Jansen got the save. The Twins blanked the Phillies 3-0. Gray got the win, Suarez got the loss, and Duran got the save. That's only one Duran, not Duran. The Nationals got by the A's 8-7. Well, what else is new? Lasoria got the win, and Snee got the loss. Pirates doubled up on the Reds 4-2. Perdomo got the win, Young got the loss, and Bednar got the save. That was game one. The Blue Jays over the Cubs 11-4. Rue got the win and Talon got the loss. The Guardians over the Rays 9-2. BB got the win. Eflin got the loss. Yep, the Marlins beat the Yankees 8-7 as they blew another lead. Great. Lopez got the win and Holmes got the loss. This is sickening. Ugh. When you see, when you check out the record they have away from home, it's awful. Angels over the Astros 2-1. Silly got the win. Uruguay got the loss, and Estevez got the save. Brewers over the White Sox 7-3. Perella got the win. Cease got the loss. Giants got by the Rangers 3-2. Duvall got the win. And Smith got the loss. The final in 10. The Orioles over the Mariners 5-3. Vespi got the win. Thornton got the loss, and Fujima got the save. Dodgers over the Rockies 8-3. Urias got the win, and Freeland got the loss. D-backs edged the Padres 5-4. Nelson got the win, Suarez got the loss, and Seawold got the save. And finally, a note, I'll take that back up. In game 2, the Reds edged the Pirates 6-5-10. Diaz got the loss. Video got the win. Video got the loss, and Durante got the save. We did have one more. Yes, the Mets actually did come up with the game to salvage the series against the Braves 7-6. Senga got the win. Chinrus got the loss, and Otavio got the save. Yesterday they lost in game 21-3, if I'm not mistaken. It was just that awful. I'm surprised fans stayed for the second game after that mess. They got clobbered in both games yesterday. Just awful. All right, so let's check the standings, and it goes like this. In the American League East, the strongest division, Orioles still have the lead, 73-45 now, but 3-game lead over the Rays at 71-49. Wow. Blue Jays, 66-54, 8 back. The Red Sox, 62-56, 11 back. And the Yankees, oh my God, 60-58, 13 back, are 25-30 on the road. As this could be their worst season in 33 years, folks. Okay, to the tragic comedy of the AL Central. Twins are still the only team above 500 in the division at 62-58, 4.5 ahead of the Guardians at 57-62. Your Tigers are 8 back at 53-65. The White Sox 47-72, 14.5 back, and the Royals 38-81, 23.5 back. Your season was over back in May. The West. Rangers are 70-48, a 2.5-game lead over the Astros at 68-51. The Mariners 63-54, 6.5 back. The Angels 59-60, 11.5 back, and the A's, who stumbled to get out of the gate this entire season, are 33-85, 37 back. Forget it. All right, over to the National League. The Braves still hold a commanding lead at 75-42, 11 ahead of the Phillies at 65-54. The Marlins are 14 back at 62-57. The Mets, oh wow, 53-65, 22.5 back. And the Nationals are 53-66, 23 back. Oh my goodness, it's worse than I thought for the Mets. After the Mets have been on a sinking ship, they're just ahead of the Nationals by a half a game, and they can be in last place. My goodness.
Sinking even further down.
Yeah, but I know a lot of Mets fans in my area, so they're not happy. I'm going to hear from them. Help. Okay, to the Central. The Brewers, 65-54, have a 3.5-game lead with the Cubs at 61-57. Watch out for the Cubs. Reds, 62-58, 3.5 back. Interesting. Pirates, 53-65, 11.5 back, and the Cardinals, 52-66, 12.5 back. A major disappointment this season. To the West. The Dodgers, 71-46, have an 8.5-game lead with the Giants at 63-55. The D-backs are 59-59, 12.5 back. The Padres, 56-62, 15.5 back. And the Rockies are 26.5 back at 45-73. Yeah, forget it. All right, so let's check the schedule. A light schedule, somewhat, for tomorrow, being that it's Monday. And it runs this way. The Astros will take on the Marlins at 6:40. At 7:10, the Pirates take on the Mets. 7:20, yeah, the Yankees are still on the road. They have a 3-game series against Atlanta starting at 7:20. Wow. A's take on the Cardinals at 7:45. 8:05, the Angels take on the Rangers. 8:10, the Mariners take on the Royals. 8:40, the D-backs take on the Rockies. 9:40, the Orioles take on the Padres. At 9:45, the Rays take on the Giants. Okay. Over to the NFL as preseason gets into high gear. Today's games, the Saints come from a high win against the Chiefs, 26-44. Bercelette had 155 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Okadoon had 1 rush carry for 30 yards, and Remco had 71 yards and 71 receiving yards. The Raiders all over the 49ers today, 34-7. O'Connell, 141 passing yards, 1 touchdown. White had 43 yards rushing on 13 carries and a touchdown, and Fordingham had 71 receiving yards. Others throughout the week were the Texans over the Patriots 20-9. Sorry, Patriots fans. Not really. The Seahawks over the Vikings 24-13. On Friday, we had the Packers beat the Bengals 36-19. Well. Lions over the Giants 21-16. Stuttlefield had 194 passing yards and 2 interceptions. Corbin had 40 rushing yards on 3 carries, and Coda had 60 yards on 60 receiving yards. Falcons over the Dolphins 19-3. Well. Steelers over the Bucks 27-17. The Commanders edged the Browns 17-15. The Commanders, whatever they call themselves nowadays. And the Cardinals edged the Broncos 18-17. Yesterday, the Bills edged the Colts 23-19. My girlfriend will be happy about that. The Bears over the Titans 23-17. My brother should be happy about that one too. Jets come away with a big win over the Panthers, 27-0. As I mentioned earlier, the Jaguars over the Cowboys 28-23. I'm not too thrilled, but it's only preseason. Ravens edged the Eagles 20-19, and in the Battle of Los Angeles, the Chargers over the Rams 34-17. Yeah, Battle of Los Angeles. I know. Okay, so on to the news items of the day, or of the week that's gone by, goes like this. Team USA basketball got their first test of the summer today, and a perfect shooting night for Jalen Brunson of the Knicks, who was 9 for 9 from the field, scoring 21 points. Jaren Jackson Jr. Scored 14 to give Team USA a 98-88 win over Spain in the third game of their pre-World Cup tournament matchup. The Americans shot from anywhere from 67 to 72% from 2-point range and 56% from 3-point range, while Spain was held to only 42%. The U.S. improved to 3-0 with 2 games left on the pre-World Cup schedule before heading to the Philippines to start the Cup tournament later this month. The U.S. has averaged 101.3 points per game in their 3 wins against Spain, Puerto Rico, and Slovenia by an average margin of 27 points per game. The U.S. only led by 1 point heading into the final quarter before hitting 7 straight points toward the end. Top scorers for the U.S. other than Brunson were Mikal Bridges with 12, Brandon Ingram, and Austin Reeves with 11 points. And USA is number 2 in the world rankings thanks to Spain winning last year's Euro Cup. Speaking of NBA, Tony Parker, Pau Gasol, and Dirk brought a European-style flavor to the Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony that happened this past weekend. Fans chanted Dirk's name and waved the German flag as the former Maverick star walked onto the red carpet at Symphony Hall last night. Parker's fans whooped it up when he took to the stage and led the proceedings. There are a lot of French people in town. Sorry, said by the former point guard of the Spurs. Spain was also well represented, with Gasol shouting how his national team, Mi Familia, meaning my family, before what might have been the greatest international class of players inducted into the Hall of Fame. Dirk was the first international player to an MVP in 2007. Parker's MVP Finals award that year was the first European-born player. In 2022, Gasol was named the first international Rookie of the Year. Wow. The Spurs were also represented by a longtime coach and NBA champion Greg Popovich, which also inducted Papa and Coach Parker on 4 of those winning championship teams. Becky Hammond, who was an assistant coach with the Spurs, was also honored, along with Dwayne Wade, who won 3 titles with the Miami Heat, and the late Jim Valvano, a.k.a. Jimmy B, who led NC State to the 83 title game were also enshrined in what was probably one of the greatest college basketball games ever, as they beat Houston in that dramatic 1983 game. As they wired out the dunk. I saw that game, and I was only 13 years old, and I went nuts. Okay. And also, they also an easy win against Slovenia at 30 points, as Luka Doncic was not playing in that game on Saturday, as he was coming off a back-to-back against Spain, and also landed awkwardly on a drive, so he was out of that game today just for precautionary reasons, which makes sense. So had to figure about that because we don't want to see him hurt going into the tournament. All right, continuing on. The Sixers ended talks with guard James Harden and plan to bring him for the start of camp at the start of the season, sources told ESPN. The Celtics had periodic offseason conversations with the Clippers, which was Harden's desired team, but a deal never surfaced. Harden opted into his $36.5 million deal for the upcoming season ahead of free agency with the intention of being traded. What else is new with him? General manager Daryl Morey last month told 97.5 sports station Philadelphia, the Fanatic, that Harden prefers to play elsewhere, but the Sixers say they will only trade him for a player who would keep the Sixers as a title contender. Yeah, rots of rock with that one. As I mentioned, Mavericks guard Luka Doncic was off the roster for Slovenia in Friday's pre-game World Cup tournament against the U.S. for precautionary reasons. It was the second game of a back-to-back for Slovenia, who lost to Spain on Thursday, where Doncic scored 17 points, had 2 triples and 3 appearances with the national team this summer, who is tuning up for the World Cup, which is now about 2 weeks away, give or take. 2 weeks away from the World Cup tournament. Luka left the game Thursday in the second quarter after what the team called an unfavorable blow. He then returned the second half after a brief injury scare. In a statement made by Slovenia, says he did not want to leave anything to chance before heading to Japan as they continue to prepare for the World Cup. Slovenia is ranked 7th in the FIBA rankings and is seeking their first medal after finishing 4th at the 2021 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. And for those of you at home, I said FIBA, not FIFA. All right, turning to soccer. Lionel Messi continues his hot streak as he scored in every game for Miami as they head to the League Cup semifinals after a 4-0 shutout again on Friday night. Messi, who scores 8th goal in 5 games since his arrival, came with 4 minutes left in the game. With Miami already up 3-0, it was just the perfect ending to a crowd of 22,000. Miami will now face Philadelphia on Tuesday as their incredible turnaround season continues. Before he got to Miami, they always score like 1 goal per game. That has now changed dramatically. Yusef Martinez opened the scoring for Miami in the 12th minute. He took a penalty ahead of Messi for the second time in 3 games, yet again found the net. Messi's second goal came at the 30-minute mark, with Messi running in the penalty box, taking the attention of Charlotte defenders. U.S. international DJ Yeldon found the run a wide open Robert Taylor to sweep home a low shot from the center of the arena. Perhaps no other player is first since Messi's debut than Taylor after scoring 5 goals in 52 MLS games. The midfielder from Finland has scored 4 goals in the last 5 games with Messi by his side. Before Messi arrived, Miami had the fewest goals in the league. Since then, they have scored an average of 3 goals per game, coming from a man who has scored more than 800 goals in his pro career. Yeah, Messi mania continues. The Canucks signed center Pulis Suter on Friday to a 2-year deal with an average value of $1.6 million. Suter played the past 2 seasons with your Detroit Red Wings, where he had a contract of 3.25 million cap hit. The Swiss native made his NHL debut with the Blackhawks in the 2020-21 season. Last season, he posted only 14 goals and 10 assists for the Red Wings as he played in 79 games. Hey, come on, 14 goals is pretty good. Well regarded for his defensive style of play, Suter won 46.8% of his faceoffs. In 3 seasons with the league, Suter has 44 assists, 43 goals in 216 career games. Again, not very shabby at all. At least I don't think so. All right, moving on. Okay. With a few weeks away before the FIBA World Cup starts, one of the biggest names of the game is out, as the Greek Freak will not be playing in the tournament as he recovers from off-season knee surgery.
Yeah.
That's right, Giannis is out. Wow. After months of work and meetings with the medical staff, it is clear I am not ready to compete at the level that I need to participate in the World Cup. Giannis said on social media, "This was not my choice, yet it was only opinion and option in ensuring that I get back to the level of basketball that I worked so hard to achieve so far in my career." He says, though disappointed, this was a decision made by the medical staff and probably the right one at that. The Greek national team had already listed Giannis doubtful after missing training camp and several warm-up games, but there was hope that Giannis would get a clearance after his scheduled return to the U.S. this past week with a follow-up visit by doctors. Obviously, that didn't go so well. The outcome impacts Team USA, who was scheduled to face Greece on the 28th of this month. It was Greece that upset the U.S. at the 2006 World Cup in Japan. The Bucks last month announced that Giannis underwent procedure on his left knee to clean up loose cartilage. The Bucks, were eliminated by Miami in the first round of the playoffs and did not specify exactly when he had the procedure. But the superstar made it known that he tried to make his way of playing in the tournament. And had maybe Giannis was not injured, maybe the Bucks could have beat that series against the Heat. Well, that's the way I look at it. I don't know about what the rest of you all think. That's what I think. Yeah. All right. The Maple Leafs signed forward Easton Cowan, their first round selection of this year's draft, with a 3-year entry level contract on Thursday. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. Selected by the Leafs 20th overall in the June draft, he played 68 games for the London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League with 20 goals and 33 assists. In the playoffs, he had 12 goals and 9 assists in 20 playoff games. The Leafs opened their preseason schedule September 24th against the Ottawa Senators. Even though it's a preseason game, that looks pretty good. Good rivals. Okay, my idiot of the week, well, one of them. The Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards was fined $50,000 by the league for swinging a folding chair that struck 2 innocent bystanders at the conclusion of their season-ending series against the Nuggets. The ruling was announced on Friday, 4 months after the incident, because of a criminal investigation into Edwards' conduct that was dismissed last month. NBA executive Joe Dumars said in a press release that Edwards was fined $50,000 for recklessly swinging a chair that injured 2 people. Edwards missed a game-tying 3 at the end of the Wolves' Game 5 loss to the Nuggets and ran off the court as both teams exchanged handshakes. Cameras caught Edwards swinging the chair before heading to the locker room. Edwards agreed to a rookie max extension worth $260 million with the Wolves and is currently involved with Team USA as they head to the World Cup. What an idiot, though. Swinging a chair at innocent people. All right, the Coyotes owner, Alex Merlo, has executed a letter of intent to purchase a parcel of land in Northwest Mesa, with the potential of building a new sports arena and entertainment complex. The Coyotes remain committed to building their first privately funded sports facility in Arizona history and ensuring the Valley and the club's permanent home, the Coyotes said in a statement. In addition to the site, the Coyotes continue to explore other potential sites within the Valley area. The Coyotes called Glendale home from 2003 to 2022 until the city council said, "Hey, we're not renewing your lease. Forget it." The Coyotes are playing the home games at Mowat Arena, which only holds about 5,000 people on the campus of Arizona State University. Yeah. The move to ASU was only a short-term fix, while Marlowe sought to build a $2.1 billion arena in Tempe on a landfill owned by the city. But the plan was rejected by the city in a special election held in May, in a result that shocked the Coyotes and made the NHL disappointed, said by Commissioner Gary Bettman. Oh, big deal. He doesn't like it. Big deal. What a jerk. The site Marlowe intends to purchase is a parcel. It's a parcel in northwest Mensa that could keep them near Arizona's three big metro areas, such as Tempe, Phoenix, and Scottsdale. Bryce James will play for Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, California, this season. The junior guard made the announcement after having his first practice on Thursday. He played his first two seasons at Sierra Canyon High School with his older brother, Bronny. In case you're wondering, yes, those sons are of LeBron James. Bryce was set to transfer to Campbell near Studio City, but already reconsidered. 24/7 Sports listed James as the number 14 shooting guard in the class of 2025. Moving along. All right. The Leafs also signed longtime goaltender Martin Jones to a one-year contract worth $875,000. I was back on Thursday. Jones was 27-13-3 with 3 shutouts with the Kraken last season, with a 2.99 goals against average and a save percentage of 8.66. Not bad. In 10 seasons with the league, Jones is 225, 163, and 35 with 28 shutouts, with a 2.71 goals against average and 9.05 save percentage with the Kings, Sharks, and Flyers, and most recently, of course, the Kraken. He was the backup to Jonathan Quick when the Kings won the Stanley Cup in 2014. Thanks a lot against my New York Rangers. Sick. And returned to the finals in 2016 as a member of the Sharks, but lost to the Penguins in 6 games. I remember that. Leafs goaltender Elias Samsonov was recently awarded a one-year, $3.5 million deal and avoided arbitration. He finished at 27-10-5 with 4 shots last season with a 2.33 goals against average and a save percentage of 9.19 in his first season with Toronto. Yes. And Lionel Messi still hasn't made his official debut with MLS. That will come around August 26th as they're still involved in the League Cup. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But he is doing phenomenally well, which doesn't really surprise me at all. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all, to be honest. All right, so moving on to other sports items of the week. And it goes like this. All right, here we go. The Falcons cut Mikael Walker, one of their starting linebackers from last season. Walker started in 12 games last season next to Rashawn Evans, making 107 tackles with 4 tackles for a loss, 1 career sack, and 2 interceptions. This was Walker's first season as a full starter after spending the previous 2 seasons as a rotation player. During his time, Walker played in 49 games with the Falcons, with 20 starts, with 3 interceptions, and a sack. He was selected in the 4th round by the Falcons out of Fresno State. Fresno State. All-Pro running back Jonathan Taylor, who remains at odds with the Colts over his contract situation, is expected to return to camp this week, according to head coach Shane Stenson. Taylor had been rehabbing his ankle injury at a facility outside the state since last week, choosing to continue his recovery rather than be with his team. But Stetson said he should be back within a few days. Stetson also said that Taylor should be returning soon, but did not give an exact date. So I'll just wait and see about that. He also added that the decision on Taylor's return are in the hands of the medical staff, which must clear him before coming off the unable to perform list. Taylor was placed on that list on July 25th and has been on it since then. So there's still a wait to be had there. Eagles linebacker Sean Bradley is out for the remainder of the season as he tore his Achilles in the preseason opener against the Ravens. Source told ESPN. Bradley confirmed that the season was over in an Instagram post. "This is not how I wanted the season to end," Bradley wrote, "but I believe that God gives us his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers." I can't argue with that. Bradley, who was a core part of the special teams for the Eagles, played in 69% of the special team snaps last season. He started one game in 3 seasons with the Eagles at linebacker. There is a lot of uncertainty at the linebacker position this year as 2 stars T.J. Edwards and Kaiser White left for free agency. Now, Kobe Dean is expected to fill one of the slots, while Nicholas Monroe and Christian Elias have been sharing snaps with the first team. Sharing snaps, huh? The Eagles signed Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham to a 1-year deal last week. Bradley was selected in the 6th round of the 2020 draft out of Temple and is scheduled to be a free agent at the end of this season. Temple. Yeah. And they're already starting with Christmas games. So Lakers versus Celtics on Christmas Day. Who do you got? Like you have to ask. Red Sox reliever Joely Rodriguez season could be over after a setback and the left-hander's injury hit season set by manager Alex Cora just today. He's currently on the 15-day injured list and has been there since July 31st with right hip inflammation. He felt something sore in his upper hip as he was throwing a bullpen session a few days ago. It's tough because he was throwing the ball well, said Cora. The upper hip is the other side of it. Yeah, I'll say. To continue on here. When asked if it was possible that Rodriguez would not return this season, Cora said, "Yes, there's a good chance he will not return." He signed a 1-year, $2 million option for 2024. Rodriguez was on the injured list 3 times already. He started this season with an oblique injury and only pitched 11 games and had an ERA of 6.55. Not good. Not good. It's a miserable ERA. Now, this could be the most inspiring story of the week, maybe even of the year. I'll explain that. As the Bills safety, Damar Hamlin, has made his return. I kid you not. The Bills opened their preseason schedule yesterday against the Colts in a 23-19 victory, and marked Hamlin's first game since he suffered that horrible cardiac arrest on January 2nd against the Bengals, and we watched that game in horror. Hamlin, whose first hit came in the second back-to-back blitzes, in which he made the final tackle, running back Evan Hull, on a 4th and 1 in the first quarter to get the ball. Uh-oh. Oops. Hold it. Slight little problem here. Yeah. But it's quite remarkable that he was able to come back, from that horrible injury. Anyway, okay, we're back now. To the Bills' offense that took some weight off his shoulders, but the butterflies before that first hit takes place in the game is something he expects to remain. When I'm feeling those nerves and emotions, it means I just love the game. And Hamlin, whose first play was a kickoff. I love it like it's really wanted everyone to be here. I want to play. I want to be good. I want to be one of the greats. Well, okay. His return that Hamlin described as a milestone is a step in the right direction, and head coach Sean McDermott said it was just remarkable, and it was because nobody expected him to return. Guardians third baseman Jose Ramirez has his suspension reduced to 2 games. The suspension came after fighting with Tim Anderson of the White Sox. Ramirez, who knocked Anderson to the ground, is currently serving the suspension after facing the Guardians this weekend in Tampa as they face the Rays. With Ramirez out of the lineup, the Guardians wasted a strong performance by rookie starter Gavin Williams in a 6-5 loss. Williams did strike out 10 batters though in 5 innings. Anderson was suspended 6 games for fighting Ramirez near second base and triggered an all-out brawl on August 5th between the Guardians and the White Sox that went on for several minutes and sparked up several flare-ups, more than firecrackers on the 4th of July. MLB handed the suspension 2 days after the incident, but Ramirez kept playing until his appeal could be heard. Anderson was also appealing his suspension as well. Okay, more bad news here as Rays All-Star Shane McClanahan is out for the rest of the year with a left arm injury. The Rays moved the pitching ace from the 15-day to the 60-day injured list before yesterday's game against the Guardians. McClain was placed on the 15-day injured list on August 4th. And I know people here are not happy with their comments. McClanahan is expected to see Dr. Keith Metzer tomorrow. Options to consider including Tommy John surgery. Oh boy. He missed the entire 2016 season of his college career at USF after undergoing Tommy John surgery. McClanahan left on August 2nd to a loss to the Yankees after 4 innings because the outside of his forearm began to tighten up. He was 11-2 on the season, went 0-1 in his last 6 starts since his last win on June 16th, leaving starts on June 22nd and June 30th because of back tightness that placed him on the 15-day injured list on July 1st. He returned on July 17th and went 6 innings versus the Rangers, lasting only 4 innings in his last 3 starts. Not good there, folks. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said yesterday that wide receiver K. Johnson is feeling much better after suffering a concussion Thursday and was taken off by a stretcher and being taken to the hospital. There are still no indications that Johnson suffered any injuries other than the concussion. Johnson, a third-year player, vying to make the roster, suffered a concussion on a kick return in the second quarter in the preseason opener against the Vikings. More on that. He briefly appeared to be unstable while getting up after the play and walked under his own power, then headed to the medical tent for evaluation. Johnson was then loaded onto a stretcher with his neck stabilized and was wheeled off during halftime. The Seahawks said after the game that Johnson was taken to Harborview Medical Center to be evaluated for neck and head injuries. On Friday, the Seahawks said that Johnson was discharged from the hospital and was placed under concussion protocol. Also yesterday, running back Keith Walker returned to practice after missing 2 weeks with a groin injury. Walker, who rushed for 1,050 yards and 9 touchdowns last season, led all rookies, had not practiced since opening day of training camp. Carroll said the injuries to Walker and that the team was resting Walker to prevent the injury from lingering deep into training camp. Well, yeah, of course. Felix Hernandez walked from the bullpen. Excuse me for a second here. As Aloe Balak's song The Man blasted through the speakers as he stood at the rubber of the top of the mound and said, "This is my house." Hernandez became the 11th player to be honored by the franchise, but few have a connection that runs that deep. Hernandez pitched his entire 15-year career in Seattle. He made 418 career starts, struck out 2,524 batters. Wow. 2,024 batters. That is bad. And through the only perfect game in franchise history. Oh, yeah. He was saddled up with some underachieving teams during his career. His return as turned on the mound was one of the few reasons why people even watched or even showed up. When he pitched, it was an experience. The Yo Shirley Kings court was part of Hernandez's start at home since 2011 and continued to his last start in 2019. Fans showed up in costumes and wore yellow shirts yesterday and broke out a few K chants during the ceremony. I thought they were trying out as contenders for Let's Make a Deal. Oh. Okay. Browns reserver linebacker Jacob Phillips suffered a torn pectoral injury in last night's preseason loss to the Commanders. Head coach Kevin Stefanski said Phillips suffered a torn from the chest muscle. A former starter who finished last season on the injury reserve list from a pectoral injury toward the muscle in the third quarter in that loss last night. Stefanski said the injury was on the opposite side from last season's injury and will require surgery. Phillips have been limited to 20 games in the last 3 seasons due to injuries, battling for a roster spot at the inside linebacker position. Moving along. The Blue Jays moved closer to the game back, closer to Jordan Romano on a rehab assignment at AAA Buffalo on Saturday. The Blue Jays recalled Nate Pearson from AAA and placed fellow right-hander Hagen Danner on the 15-day injured list with an oblique strain. Romano had been out for a month with low back inflammation. He was 4-5 with an ERA of 2.79 and 28 saves and earned his second All-Star appearance. Okay, not that bad. Well, the record's not great, but his ERA is fine. In 5 seasons with the Blue Jays, Romano has a record of 18-13 with an ERA of 2.62 with 89 saves. Pearson, this season's 5-2 in 32 appearances with the Jays this season, but has an ERA of 5.31. Not good. Not awful, but not good.
Not as horrible as Joey Wentz's ERA, like 6.78 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or seven something. Let me look it up. Continue on.
Yeah. But anything with over a 4 or 5, that's 5 is like borderline. So anyway, the Astros placed first baseman Jose Abreu on the 10-day injured list and right-hander Phil Maton on the 15-day injured list. The Astros recalled infielder David Hensley and left-hander pitcher Parker Murschke from AAA Sugarland to take the roster spots of Abreu with spine inflammation.
703.
And Martin
with a 168 whip.
Oh boy.
Thank God he's already back down in Toledo.
Thank goodness. And Maton with a right elbow contusion. The move involving Abreu was retroactive to Thursday. Abreu is batting .234 with 10 home runs and 56 RBIs in 110 games for the Astros. Not bad, but still. Yeah, watch those ERAs, folks. He signed a 3-year, $58 million deal back in 2020. Maton was injured on a comebacker in Friday's game against the Angels. He is 3-3 with a 3.04 ERA and 1 save. Friday's game, yes. Packers tight end Tyler Davis tore his AC on a preseason game against the Bengals on Friday, sources told ESPN yesterday. Davis made 2 receptions for 9 yards against the Bengals. In the first was a 5-yard in the second quarter. The injury reportedly occurred in the second reception as Davis was limping on the field. Not good. He was carted off the field to the locker room after trainers looked at his knee. The NFL Network was the first to report the injury to Davis. Davis was drafted in the 6th round in 2020 by the Jaguars. He played 8 games for them in 2020 and 6 games with the Packers in 2021 when he signed with the team. A bit of a mishap for the Orioles. Play-by-play by Kevin Brown last night versus the Orioles, actually Friday night. Brown, who has not been with the team since July 23rd, after making a brief appearance to the Orioles' lack of success against the Rays in previous years, said on for Thursday, since he's had a wonderful relationship with the organization. Brown noted that the Orioles had won many games in Tampa in 2023 than in the last 3 years combined. A graphic showed the Orioles struggled, have accompanied by the comments made by Brown. According to reports Monday, ownership group took issue with his comment and was off the air until Friday. Recent media reports have mistaken the relationship that Brown had with the Orioles, saying that on social media. The fact is that Brown has had a wonderful relationship with the organization and front office since he joined the Orioles broadcast team in 2019. Well, then get your facts straight, buddy, before you make accusations.
Yeah,
Duh.
you gotta bring it visual and audio proof.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
just the way it works.
Right. Okay. Mike Trout hit up a pitching machine for the first time since he fractured his left hamate bone, and manager Phil Nevin says he's closing in on a return soon. Trout has not played since July 3rd, said them before the start of their series against the Astros, and the team believes that he is close to return, but did not issue an exact timetable for it. There'll be some hot spots around the wrist, said Nevin. It's natural when these things happen with this surgery. It is not necessarily where it's fixed, but the areas around it. So that could become sensitive. So you just gotta keep swinging. Trout hit up a tee last week. Nevin added the more swings he gets, the more he will start to feel like he can let it go. Nevin says it'll be sooner rather than later. Well, he thinks that anyway. And, well, so do I. Okay, Red Sox star Chris Sale may has returned to the team after a 10-week absence, and his return provided a little something extra. Sale retired the first 14 batters off the Tigers on Friday, combined with 2 relievers and only giving up 2 hits to give the Red Sox a 5-2 victory. The win was the third straight for the Red Sox, helping them pull within 3 games of the final wildcard spot with the Blue Jays, as they battle for the final wildcard spot in the American League. Sale took a perfect game into the 5th, striking on Jake Rogers to lead off the inning, then getting a Miguel Cabrera on a ground out. But Kerry Carpenter fouled with a home run over the Red Sox bullpen when Sale hit the next batter, Javier Baez. Red Sox manager Alex Cora made a call to the bullpen. Hello, we need help here. Sale said Cora told him, keep your eye on the big picture. I know the situation. I know that one more hitter or whatever, said Sale, but I have too much respect for him to show off and push the envelope. Kyle Warkaloff walked Zach Short, gave up a single to Riley Green to cut the lead to 4-2. Matt Burling struck out to end the inning. Sale did strike out 7 batters, allowed 2 runs on 1 hit, and threw 58 pitches. He is scheduled to pitch again Thursday against the Nationals. Oh, that'll be fun. Lions receiver Caleb Raymond signed a 2-year extension of the team announced yesterday. Raymond is now signed through 2025. There were no other details announced. Oh well. Raymond, who was also a punter, will be entering his 7th season in the league. He was named to the 2022 AP second team as an All-Pro squad as a punt returner after appearing in all 17 games last season. Racked up 264 punt returns last season for the Lions, the most for the franchise since Jamal Agnew, who had 444 in 2017. Raymond also snagged 47 receptions for 616 yards and started 6 games last season. He is expected to play a big role on the offense and special teams. After bouncing around early in his career, between the Broncos and the Giants, Raymond seems to have found a home in Detroit as he's playing his third season with the Lions. We'll keep it up. Phillies pitching ace Michael Lorenz will get a few days of extra rest after pitching a no-hitter on Wednesday night. The right-hander threw a career-high 124 no-hit pitch against the Nationals. This was his first start for the Phillies after being acquired from the Tigers. Sorry. Boy. Yeah, the Tigers. Lorenzo won't pitch again until the 18th at Washington. The Phillies have been using a six-man rotation to reduce the Stars' workloads, and the Phillies have 2 off days this week, which is rare at this point in the season. On Wednesday, Lorenzen said his arm was hurt 10% more than it would after a normal outing. His previous outing was 107 pitches in 2015. That was the most since before Wednesday. That was his rookie year. Nothing too painful, but he said the 8 days off would help a bit. Trying to ease back into routine before making my next start could help. The defending National League champions are holding the top wildcard spot. Manager Rob Thompson said the six-man rotation is only a short term. After we get past the off days, it's back to a 5-man rotation. We have a lot of off days, and there'll be a lot of guys who are getting 5 days rest circling through there. Lorenzen pitched the 14th career no-hitter in Phillies history on Wednesday, and it was his first complete game. Congratulations, though. Well, the Dodgers retired. Fernando Mania is back at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers retired Fernando Valenzuela's number 34 jersey on Friday before the game against the Rockies. Venezuela said it was very emotional. He told a group of English and Spanish media reporters and said this was something he never expected, really. On Friday, he was in downtown LA where the city council declared Fernando Valenzuela Day. The activities were part of a weekend celebration of one of the most popular players in franchise history. A post-game drone show honored Fernando was set after the game. Yesterday, they gave away a bobblehead doll, and today they gave away a replica of his 1981 World Series ring, which they beat the Yankees in 6 games. Yuck. And broke the heart of an 11-year-old boy from New Jersey. Valenzuela became a sensation in 1981 as he won the World Series, also won Rookie of the Year, and the NL Cy Young all in the same season that nobody's ever done before. And to think that happened all during a 57-day strike in that same year. And we almost didn't even have a World Series. It could have been very ugly. And actually, yesterday was the day that the strike ended. How about that? And yes, I remember it. He was named opening day starter after pitcher Jerry Reeses was injured the day earlier. He responded with a 2-0 victory over the Astros and began the season 8-0 with 5 shutouts with an unbelievable ERA of 0.50. I'll repeat that. I said 0.50. He still has franchise records with 141 wins, 1,759 strikeouts, 2,340 innings pitched, 107 complete 320 starts, 107 complete games, and 29 shutouts. Sickening, just sickening. And the Knicks will play the Bucks on Christmas Day. This will be the 3rd season row for the Knicks. Good. I'm looking forward to it. Raiders All-Pro receiver Davante Adams looked off the field in a joint practice session with the 49ers back on August 11th. It happened appeared to be a right leg injury. Adams was sidelined between 49ers linebacker Orton Burks and cornerback Shavarius Ward while running a slant planter on 11-11 drills and stayed down for a minute before being helped to the sideline. Later, he walked gingerly into the Raiders' locker room and pointed to his calf area. Okay. Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels said after practice they had yet to receive an update on Adams. McDaniels says he does not think the injury is anything serious. It was a total bang-bang play on both sides. Adams, a six-time Pro Bowler, was named first All-Pro the last 3 seasons and had 100 yards on a career high of 180 targets for 1,516 yards and a league high 14 touchdowns last season for the Raiders, which acquired him in a blockbuster trade with the Packers the previous spring. He has averaged 113 catches for 1,481 yards and 12 touchdowns within the past 3 seasons. The Orioles placed lefty Danny Comby in the 15-inch list with left bicep tendonitis. Ugh. Orioles manager Brandon Hyde said Columbia, the team's left-handed reliever, had difficulty getting loose in the bullpen on Tuesday. Hyde was holding out for hope that Columbia could be activated by August 24th. Well, probably not. He is 3-1 with an ERA of 2.77 in 39 innings in 47 relief appearances. He has 48 strikeouts and only 9 walks. Columbia also played for the Dodgers, Twins, A's, and now the Orioles. Kind of a journeyman. Jose Bautista, whose home run famous flat flip that cemented him in Blue Jays history, signed a one-day contract to retire as a Blue Jay, where he was a member there for 10 seasons. Bautista retires as a 6-time All-Star with a 247 career batting average, with 344 home runs and 979 RBIs to go along with 1,022 runs. He played 15 seasons and played for 7 different teams in that span, but it was time with the Blue Jays where he was remembered most, as he earned the nickname Joe Bats, and will be added to the Blue Jays' level of excellence at the Rogers Center, which took place yesterday. His best season with the Blue Jays came in 2010 when he had 54 home runs. The bat flip, as I mentioned, came in Game 5 in the division series of 2015 against the Rangers, and it came off a 3-run home run. Bautista also played for the Orioles, Royals, Pirates, Braves, Mets, and Phillies, as well as the Blue Jays, with a total of 1,798 games played. Just short of 1,800. Wow. Seahawks wide receiver Cade Johnson was taken off the field by a stretcher and was reported. I think I already covered that, but he is feeling better though, so we did cover that. All right. Texas beat LSU and Miami for number 7 recruit defensive end Colin Simmons. Miami was the 3rd finalist in Simmons' recruitment. Simmons was 7th overall in the ESPN 300 and top defensive end. His decision to stay at home and play in-state will provide a boost trail as the Longhorns 2024 class ranks 24th in the ESPN rankings. Texas was the 3rd best class in 2023, and Texas and LSU will join the SEC next season. Ugh. Yeah, next season. Well, we'll have to see how it goes, won't it? Free agent running back Kareem Hunt led the visit with the Colts without a contract and will continue to feel interest from other teams, sources told ESPN. Back on Thursday, the Colts hosted Hunt on Wednesday, as the sides had mutual interest, given the Colts' lack of depth at running back. But according to the source, the parties were not able to reach an accord, therefore no deal was reached. The news came a day after Hunt visited the Saints that ended without a deal. Without a deal, with a source telling ESPN the Colts offered more money. Hunt is coming off 4 seasons with the Browns with 468 rushing yards last season. He was a 3rd-round selection in 2017 by the Chiefs and earned a Pro Bowl start. For the Colts, the unsettled situation at running back The team talked with multiple running backs and announced the signing of former Lions fifth-round pick Jason Huntley. An all-pro running back, Taylor is still on the unable to perform list, undergoing rehab on a lingering injury out of state, as he is still at odds with his team over his contract, as I previously mentioned. All right. Let's see. Okay. Arizona Cardinals running back Marlon Mack is out for the season after suffering an Achilles injury, said by head coach John Gannon back on Wednesday. Mack suffered an Achilles injury midway through Tuesday's practice and did not return. He tore his right Achilles in 2020 when he was with the Colts. Gannon was the defensive backs coach for the Colts that season as well. Gannon declined to go into discussions he had with Mack since the injury. After his first practice session with the team on Saturday, Mack said he hoped he showed enough to make the 53-man roster and felt like a deer running out into the field. Wow. After his first 5 seasons with the Colts, he split last season with the Niners and Broncos, totaling 185 rushing yards and 1 touchdown in 8 games. Overall, he has rushed for 2,568 yards and 21 touchdowns in 6 seasons. He also caught 65 passes for 547 yards and 3 more scores. Giants outfielder A.J. Pollock will miss 3 weeks with a left oblique strain. Boy, a lot of oblique strains in baseball. The Giants placed Pollock on the 10-day injury list before their finale against the Angels back on Wednesday. Pollock was taken out Tuesday rather. He was taken out of Tuesday's game in the 3rd inning after feeling discomfort on his side. The Giants acquired him from the Mariners at the trade deadline for infielder Mark Mathis. Pollock was 0-6 his first 5 games with the Giants. That included 2 starts. His batting 165 with 5 home runs with 15 RBIs in 54 games with the Mariners and Giants, despite struggling with injuries. Pollock batted .245 last year for the White Sox following 3 productive seasons with the Dodgers. He began his career with the D-backs and played there for 7 seasons. The Giants recalled outfielder Heliot Romas from AAA Sacramento to take Pollock's spot on the roster. In a case of beginner's luck, Phillies rookie Weston Wilson hits his first home run in his first at-bat in the majors. On the 3rd pitch of his first at-bat, the lefty crushed one of the seats at left center. Yes, it was a home run that was in front of family members at Citizens Bank Park. The whole family celebrated a long-awaited milestone. Couldn't have been a happier baseball player. I think not. Hold the champagne toast. Wilson's home run was upstaged by Michael Lorenzen's no-hitter in the pitcher's first start at home in the Phillies' 7-0 shutout over the Nationals on Wednesday night. Wilson deserved his time to shine as well. Several of his teammates stopped by his clubhouse locker to share in the moment. Wilson played 708 minor league games before coming to the majors. He was drafted in the majors in 2016. Wilson batted 7th in the lineup and hit a solo shot off Mackenzie Gore in the 2nd inning for his first home run in the majors. Wilson was selected by the Brewers in the 17th round of 2016 and had 642 hits and 29 home runs in the minors, and was called up last Sunday from AAA Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. He finished 1-1 with 3 runs scored with that home run, 2 walks, and a steal. Okay. And by the way, that was the Phillies' 14th no-hitter in their existence.
Yeah, Michael Lorenzen, the former Tiger.
Michael Lorenzen, yep.
Lorenzen?
Lorenzen, yep. And my other idiot of the week, well, former receiver for the Raiders, Henry Ruggs III, was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison from a November 2021 drunk driving incident that ended up killing a young woman and her dog. Ruggs could be eligible for parole in 3 years. A Clark County District Judge called Ruggs on Wednesday. It was one of the most tragic cases she's ever seen. And yet only got 3 to 10 years. Interesting. Ruggs has been under house arrest with alcohol and electronic monitoring devices since pleading guilty on May 1st to one count of DUI that resulted in death and one count of vehicular manslaughter that killed the woman Tina Tintor. On Wednesday, Suggs read a statement directed at her family, which he apologized for his actions. Ruggs had faced a sentence of 3 to 10 years in a Nevada State prison since May. The Raiders cut Ruggs the day after the crash. Wednesday marked the first time that her family had spoken to anyone about the crash. He killed a woman and only got up to 3 to 10 years prison. Got away with murder. Okay, one more note here. In a reunion with their former draft pick, the Patriots signed defensive end Trey Flowers. The announcement was made back on Tuesday. Flowers, the two-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, who was selected in the 4th round of the 2015 draft, spent his first 4 seasons with the Patriots before signing a 5-year, $90 million deal with the Lions back in 2019. Yeah, yuck. To continue on here, he appeared in 4 games with the Dolphins last season and landed on injury reserve with a foot injury. He is not guaranteed a roster spot, but provides depth behind Derek Wise Jr. and 2nd-round pick Keelan White as part of their team's defensive scheme. The Patriots had an open roster spot and did not need to release a player to make room for Flowers, who made a visit to the team earlier in the offseason and worked out with the club officials last Monday. Flowers had 21 sacks in his 4 seasons with them. You call them the Patriots. He also had 5.5 sacks in 9 postseason games for the Patriots. You guys know I can't stand him. All right. Yeah, I don't take care of my notes, so now I'll just turn back over to you.
All right, so that's episode 76 of True Sports for Lewiston Orr. I'm Taylor Phillips. We'll be back next week. Ta-ta.
Hi, folks.